Lukhanyo is ready, and his surname is Sikwebu. He's a South African photographer, screenwriter, producer, and author with his newly released book titled 9 Hours. The book follows the story of lead character Naomi Mandisa Nel as she is recruited to join a part of a team tasked to extract schoolgirls abducted by terrorist rebels in Northern Mozambique. Now, to give us a timeline of the countdown as he narrates it in this offering, Lukhanyo joins us on Zoom. Lukhanyo, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Welcome. Thank you for having me, Levo, and greetings to the viewers as well.
Lukhanyo, for the benefit of our viewers who may not have read the book yet, tell us more about what 9 Hours is about and what inspired it.
Well, 9 Hours it's essentially a rescue mission, Levo. We have a platoon of soldiers that are tasked to rescue 40 girls that have been abducted by terrorist rebels. So our story follows our lead character, Naomi Mandisa Nel, and her platoon in their quest to rescue the girls. What actually inspired the story was what happened in 2014, Level, with the Chibok girls in Nigeria. So I felt very sympathetic about their story, about their plight. So I just wanted to write something with a happier and a better ending, considering how poorly it was handled by the Nigerian government when it happened. I mean, if I can give an example, today in 2021, right, at least 110 girls are still missing from that terrible disaster, you know. So I just felt compelled to write, you know, something more positive. I mean, 9 Hours is a different story. It's got a different storyline, but the backdrop is similar.
Yeah. Tell us about the character Naomi. We first meet her in the very first chapter of the book.
Yes. So Naomi is I don't want to call her an assassin. Let's call her an agent or a spy, right? She has a military background, and so she is then tasked to bring criminals to book when the law can't. You know, she does covert missions that the government can't openly do. So she's that type of character to do the underground work in the shadows to bring about justice.
Now, there's another strong female character in the book, Aisha. Tell us a little bit about having two strong female characters in the book.
Well, I felt that, you know, it was very necessary to have a second one. So Naomi is from one point of view, Aisha is from another, because Aisha has been kidnapped by the rebels. I don't want to give the story away too much, but she manages to escape. So as the writer, I wanted to have both of those point of views from the platoon, the soldiers, and also from someone who has been in captivity with the rebels, and merge those two worlds. I feel like I'm giving too much away, but that's the reason why I had that character level.
And now speak to us about the storyline of the abduction of young girls in Africa and why that was so important for you to highlight.
Why it was so important for me to highlight the abduction of young girls.
Yes, in Africa in general. Why is that such an important thing to highlight?
Well, it's. I mean, if we can start here at home, there's a strong, you know, kind of thread within 9 Hours that something drastic must be done against gender-based violence, right? And that's, you know, essentially what the story is. You know, it is something drastic being done by a platoon of soldiers against gender-based violence. We have a serious problem here in South Africa, and then if we can talk about the rest of Africa, we have a terrible pandemic regarding human trafficking. So I feel that 9 hours, speaks to, those pandemics and those harsh plights against defenseless people.
Talk to us about the other themes. You touched a bit on gender-based violence. The themes that you also touch on in the book, there's religion, there's also spirituality. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in regards to my research, when I was researching these terrorist networks, the Al-Shabaabs of this world, the ISIS of this world, the Boko Harams of this world, I found that, they have, quite a strong, they have strong spiritual beliefs, right? Whether it is completely delusional or not, but it's there. Like, for instance, they go to sangomas and practice witchcraft, hoping that the enemy's bullets will bounce from them, and all sorts I want to call it sick and twisted, because it is spiritual beliefs in the hopes to inflict harm on humanity. So I wanted to touch on those themes as well. So that's the reason why I touched on that.
You touched a little bit on the research that went into this book. What are some of the other findings that went into your research that you managed to incorporate into the book?
In regards to the research, I had to research a lot about religion, for instance, Christianity, which is what Naomi is, Islam, which is what a lot of the terrorists are. But I also wanted to highlight that terrorism, Muslims and Islam is not an evil religion that is worshipped by bad people that strap bombs, on themselves and terrorize people, So, that was interesting in regards to the research. Also, I had to research, regarding military warfare, guns and jets and soldiers, army fatigue. I had to research, the mental stability of young girls being in captivity and what it does to them. It's interesting because some of the girls, they can't handle it. They as a defense mechanism, they almost have to join these terrorist networks, but others don't, of course. They try to escape. Others are forced to marry, and it was a lot of research, and one had to really be respectful in regards to what I, as a writer, put on paper. So I feel that we've managed that with 9 hours.
Now, without giving away too much of the ending, are we looking at a sequel to the book, maybe screenplay? What are the thoughts there?
I'm glad you brought that up, because we're looking at both, right? The sequel, part 2, it's already been complete. So far, it's called The Queen's Son. I'm busy with the third book at the moment. So I'm chatting with my publisher, NB Publishers and Kwela Books, in regards to the sequel. As I said, it's done already. And also the screenplay is done as well, because besides, I'm not just a writer, I'm also a film producer as well, and a photographer. So I wrote the screenplay with the book simultaneously.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us, Lukhanyo Sikwebu. Thank you so much for talking to us about your book. He's a photographer, screenwriter, producer, and author, and we've been discussing his book titled 9 Hours, Naomi Mandisa Nel's story.